I spent many years of my life feeling like there was something wrong with me, something that was broken, and something that I didn't understand. It wasn't until last year that I realized that there might actually be a reason for this feeling, and a reason why I have struggled so much, especially socially. There have been so many times when I have misinterpreted things or not understood things or had these ideas about things that I thought were good and then other people weren't terribly keen on. For example, someone might want to spend time with me, but then I will invite somebody else because I think, oh, well, lots of people together is a good thing, right? Social, social, social. But then later on, I find that the person's upset at me and I don't understand why they're upset at me. And then it really takes a lot of investigation. Then I'm like, oh, maybe they just wanted it to be that person and myself. Oh, maybe I shouldn't invite other people. Maybe that's not a good thing to do. Just things like that. This is something that happened many, many, many years ago. But there have been so many incidences of things where I have just, I suppose, not been aligned mentally with what other people think and feel. And I struggle so much with social stuff. I always have. I've always struggled and I've always felt like, why do I hit so many walls when it comes to being friends with people and interacting with people? Why do I say the wrong things? Why do I interact with people differently? Why do I have to think about things when I'm communicating with people? Like, I have to actively go through a checklist of what I should be doing and what I shouldn't be doing so that I can make sure that the person doesn't get upset at me. And it's not out of fear of being hated as much as it's a fear of not doing the right thing, because one should follow the rules. That's how I feel about it. And so when I'm interacting with someone, I have to make sure to remind myself not to interrupt, not to make the story about me, not to try and say, oh, I understand that feeling. I had this happen too. Because in my brain, the idea of saying, oh, me too, I understand that to a certain degree, is a positive thing because I am empathizing. Oh, we have a similar experience. It sucks, right? But for other people, they don't want that. They, I think, want someone to just listen to them or to, I don't know, acknowledge the struggling that they're going through. And so I have to remind myself to not do those things. And I have to remind myself not to dominate conversations with things just about myself. Like, I will be in a conversation with someone, and this has happened before, where I just go on and on and on and on and on and on and on about something. For example, learning languages, which is something that I really enjoy. And afterwards, for example, I had this experience where an ex said to me, you didn't let the poor man breathe. And I'm like, why? And they're like, you just kept on talking and talking and talking. And I'm like, did I? I don't know. I'm not doing these things consciously, but it has been a real struggle learning to, I don't know, navigate social things. It really has been all of my life. And I've felt that I have this vibrant inner world where everything is, I don't know, more beautiful and extreme and elegant than it really is in the real world. And so sometimes I feel quite detached from the real world because the real world is very icky and filled with horrible things and hate and killing and violence. And so I like my world of, sunshine and sugar rainbows. This is part of what led me to believe that I'm probably autistic, but I'm not in a space at the moment or a place or a location to actually allow me to go and get a diagnosis because of money, time, and where I live. I live in Japan, which doesn't really have as much sort of set up for people who are already adults and recognizing potential autism. I am a full-time parent and I work on weekends. I don't have a lot of money because of said full-time parent working on weekends thing. And so I'm really kind of in a bind, hence talking about these things online. I suppose because that helps me to try and find other people who have potentially similar experiences to myself. Obviously, I can't diagnose myself. And actually, that's something that I find funny. A lot of people would say self diagnose yourself, which seems like a redundant phrase. It should just be diagnose oneself or diagnose myself, etc. Anyway, I digress. Really, I have found much of my life, I have felt like an alien whenever I go outside, and I still do. I go to the shop and I'm just like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Even with having a son, like I take my son out with me and I don't know what I'm meant to be doing. It's really awkward. Like, am I meant to be saying certain things? Am I meant to be doing certain things? Is it important for me to act a certain way? I have no bloody idea. And so I feel like every time I go outside, I'm winging it. I really do not know what I'm doing. And I don't know if anyone else has had these experiences. I suspect they probably have. But not being other people, I can't really talk for other people. But I have found that when it comes to anything like documentation, the idea of me writing documentation and going through that is really, really difficult. The idea of doing anything official is really difficult. Going to things like the town hall or anything like that, I just don't know what I'm doing, and no one gives me the sort of directions that I need. I go for a health checkup, and people give me sort of really all over the place directions. Ah, yeah, head off in that direction. Where the hell is that direction? Like, can you literally take me there, please? Because I don't know. I don't know what I'm meant to be doing. And until you tell me what I'm meant to be doing, I'm gonna stand here being awkward like a spare prick. And it's not nice. I hate it. But because I also don't have that diagnosis, that nice piece of paper, I can't really say to people, hey, look, I'm autistic. Can you help me, please? Because to me, that feels like lying because I haven't got someone else's approval. So I obviously am not autistic and I need to shut up and get on with it. And it's just like, shut up, brain, you stupid piece of mush. Anyway, I have no idea if anybody else is going to relate to these things, but to add to all of this, I am diagnosed with OCD, and that is definitely something I have, and it is not nice either. And sometimes I wonder if I also have a touch of the added ADHD, not really profoundly, just in small domains like limited domains like what you call it, time blindness and things like being really interested in something and then it dropping off, etc. I can be really, really obsessed with a specific thing, such as language learning. And that is something that continues every day, and I do it every day. But I can't do the same language all the time. Hence, probably why I'm studying like 8 or 9 languages at the moment, because I think I like the variety, but that's a totally different conversation for another time. Basically, I have been walking around in a bubble of my own world and unable to really understand the world around me. And I found that in a lot of ways, I have just disassociated. I don't know if that's the right word, depersonalized. I can't remember. Anyway, I feel like a little man controlling a body walking around the world. So people aren't talking to me, they're talking to the body that I'm piloting. And so it makes me feel a bit more comfortable, I think. I don't know. But it's easier than actually being in the real world sometimes.